Welcome to Breaking Solo, how solopreneurs break barriers, build brands, and embrace the future of business.
If you're a perfectionist, get over it. Figure out how to get over that quickly because perfectionism is going to be the thing that is going to hold you back. It will keep you from getting anything done, and you can give yourself all the excuses in the world saying, "Oh, I have high standards. I just want to do it right." But the reality is as your skills increase and you learn more, your idea of what perfect is going to keep changing. It's a moving goalpost. So you're never going to reach perfect. And you can either get things done and take steps that make progress for you and your business, or you can sit around not getting things done because you think they're not good enough yet.
Welcome to Breaking Solo, how solopreneurs break barriers, build brands, and embrace the future of business.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again today. I'm very excited to have Kate Gilbert as my guest on Breaking Solo this morning. Hi, Kate. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, Kate, tell the audience who you are, what you do.
So I call myself an action-oriented business strategist or coach. I work with people who mostly work alone, like you all, and I help them set up simple systems to make their businesses run better and to create businesses they really love without burning out.
That's a huge take. I can see that every business needs that,
Yeah.
but that's a biggie.
Yeah, well, I became that because it is what I needed previously. And so now my goal is always to be the person that I had needed in my last business. Because I founded and ran an online magazine for 10 years. And by the end of it, I was very burnt out. And I really, looking back, I think that if I had had, a Kate, then I would have been able to maybe get more done, keep it running, set up things that would have allowed me to achieve all of the ideas I had that I never ever got to implement.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what inspired you to go in business solo in the first place?
Well, actually, my first solo business was when I was 15. So all of my friends were 16 and they could all get jobs and nobody would hire me. And I said to my parents, like, oh, I really want a job, but no one will hire me because I'm only 15. My mom said, "Well, why don't you just like make one for yourself?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And I was a really artistic kid, and so she said, "Why don't you run like an art camp? You can do it in our garage." And so I made flyers and I hung them up at the local grocery store, and people sent me checks in the mail and signed up. It was crazy.
Awesome.
So I think, I can blame it on or thank my mother for this. And I've basically almost always worked for myself ever since. There have been a couple periods of time where I was like, oh, maybe I want to go work for someone else. And then I pretty quickly end up back on my own again.
Yeah, I get that. I've been there. So, what's been the biggest challenge in your solopreneur journey?
I mean, as a single mom, I think the stability can sometimes be a little scary or a little difficult because obviously there are ebbs and flows in every business and, the economic climate. I think many of us are feeling the pinch right now. So, that's been a little hard. And I both became a solopreneur because I kind of had to in a certain way as a single mom. I needed the flexibility to pick up my daughter from school or be home if she was sick or, take her to the dentist or whatever. And also because in 2017, I had cancer. And after that, it sort of left my energy level really impacted for a while. And I just wouldn't be able to, like, go into an office and sit in an office all day long, not to mention all the appointments I had. So, it's been something that I keep doing, you know? And
Yeah.
it was both like a necessity and also a challenge in many ways.
Yeah, but kind of a gift at the same time because you
Yeah.
could take care of yourself and your daughter and still make some money.
Sure. Yeah. It's just, I think being on your own, like, and in charge of everything at, work and in charge of everything at home can become pretty exhausting after a while. And, if I hang out with friends and they're like, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, I don't care. Just make a decision for me. Like,
And just make me not cook it.
yeah, exactly.
That's great. Okay, so we kind of talked a little bit about how you found your unique niche
Yeah. Right.
based on what you experienced yourself, but what strategies do you use to differentiate yourself from your competitors?
Well, honestly, I am too lazy to pretend that I am something that I am not. So I I speak in my social media, in my emails, exactly the way I speak in real life to everyone, which I think is I'm accused of being a little bit like of a straight shooter, but also kind, obviously. So I just don't, I find that that's really easier for me if I can just show up and not have to like pretend to be more corporate, for example, than I actually am, or, and use all of those, $10 corporate words or whatever. So
That's awesome. So you provide the tough love that your clients need.
sometimes, yes. So one of my clients actually says that I'm a hand holder slash butt kicker. Because she, she'll message me sometimes and be like, "Can you have a meeting with me? I really need some hand-holding, butt kicking from you." So,
I had a client years ago, she was a coach, and one of her products was a Kita, which is a kick in the
oh, okay. I've never heard that. That's pretty funny.
yeah.
I I
Yeah,
don't I don't think I'm too tough, but I one of my other clients said that I will hold your hand and I will listen to you cry and whine for a little bit, but then I'm going to make you get on with it.
yeah, I call that tough love. You're kind,
I,
but then it's
I
time
think
to
tough
go.
love means different things to different people. So
Oh, that's great. So, do you see because you work with solopreneurs, do you see any trends that you think they should be paying attention to right now?
Well, what I see with a lot of the people I work with is they're just trying to implement systems around social media, especially because it's either something they're completely avoiding or it's something that is taking way, way, way too much of of their time. And so, I mean, that's work I do with people on a regular basis. I don't consider myself a social media person necessarily. I'm kind of like the person who doesn't love social media but realizes that it's a necessity. And so, I help people work on their systems around that so they make it doable. Because I just think, if you can show up as yourself, then it makes life a lot easier for you energy wise. And it also is more likely to make people connect with you. And given that, in 2025 we're dealing with AI and a lot of people creating AI content, and so I think we have a chance to really stand out as human beings and speak to people in a way that's vulnerable and true, and connect with them as human beings, because that's what we're all looking for. We're not looking to like hang out with a robot or with a faceless company. you know there are many people who do things similar to what I do, but they come to me because they like the way I talk to them.
Yeah, that's because you're human.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so because you're the systems girl, what's one tool, app, or resource that you can't live without in your business?
Honestly, it's Google Docs. Like, I know that there are so many other, there are like project management tools, and I've tried them all, but in fact, I've like created for myself a project management tool right in Google Docs, with a dashboard that tells me exactly what I need to be doing this week. and I can put like my big goals in there. I can put my everyday kind of tasks in there, and it allows me to like see everything in one place and follow through with it in a way that I found really difficult with the other project management tools. I just didn't keep up with them. And yeah, and so now I actually like work with other people and give them this system as well. And a lot of people are finding it's really helped them. So
That's awesome. I'm not that good with Google Docs.
yeah, I
Um,
just set it up in a way where it doesn't feel very spreadsheety, and I make it very visual. I have a background in graphic design, so I don't want to look at stuff that's not pretty.
Pretty.
So,
I understand that. So, do you typically recommend any books or courses to your clients?
gosh, that's a hard one. I've done so many, quite honestly. I mean,
But there's
my
not a
own.
specific one that you would like point out to everybody.
Um, Let me think about that. So, I mean, one course that I was pretty impressed with, it's more like a community. It's called Primal Video, and it's all about YouTube. I learned a lot from that. There was a course that a friend of mine used to teach, but she doesn't do it anymore. So unfortunately, I can't point anyone in that direction. But um, yeah, I think that's one that comes to mind right now just because I was in it again the other day. I'm still a member of it and occasionally go back and look at things, and it allows I can kind of outsource the keeping up to date with YouTube to it's two brothers who run it, and I can kind of outsource that to them.
There you go. That's good. That's good. Okay, so what daily habits or routines help you to stay focused and productive?
Well, I walk to my desk. I work at home and I get up and I basically walk to my desk and I open up my dashboard and I look at it and I see what's on the list for the day. And that way I know, comparing my calendar and my to-do list, I know exactly what I should get done and how I need to arrange my day to do that.
Awesome. And then tell me how you manage work-life balance, if there
Gosh,
really
isn't
is such
that the
a thing.
challenge for everybody? Um, I try to be pretty generous with myself. If there's an afternoon where I don't have a meeting on the calendar and I'm like, I'm really tired, then I will take a nap. You know, I'm
Uh,
pretty, yeah, I'm pretty generous with my napping schedule. And for a while, I was really working way too much. I was working, late at night. I was working weekends, and now I don't work on the weekends anymore. I've really set aside that time to be present.
Awesome. That's good. Um, so if you had to give a piece of advice to somebody that was just getting started,
I would
what would you
say
say?
if you're a perfectionist, get over it. Like, figure out how to get over that quickly because perfectionism is going to be the thing that is going to hold you back. It will keep you from getting anything done, and you can give yourself all the excuses in the world saying, "Oh, I have high standards. I just want to do it right." But the reality is as your skills increase and you learn more, your idea of what perfect is going to keep changing. It's a moving goalpost. So you're never going to reach perfect, and you can either get things done and take steps that make progress for you and your business, or you can sit around not getting things done because you think they're not good enough yet. And I have seen people do that for years. I saw somebody who perfected a course for years without ever selling it, and all the while paying for Kajabi and um, redoing it over and over and over again until she quit and didn't, it cost her a lot of money. Her business was a hobby in the end.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
I years ago I pasted a saying right above my computer that said progress, not perfection, because
Yes.
I had a tendency to try to
Yeah.
be perfect, and it's just that just doesn't work. It's not reasonable.
Yeah, I am definitely, I've always been a perfectionist, but I feel like I'm a recovering perfectionist. And I've, I've really I try now when I'm working on something to ask myself if I'm really getting lost in the weeds and if this is going to make a substantial difference to anybody else. And I mean, I think also the other lovely thing we have to remember, especially if you're an online business in particular, is that if I had a storefront, I would have to like pay for a sign to come get hung up, and that would cost me like tens of thousands of dollars probably or whatever. And I would have to choose what the floor tiles were, and I would have to pay for them to be installed, and then it would be very expensive to replace. But as an online business, most of the things you do, you can update. You can work on it behind the scenes and then update it. And so I feel like we're really lucky in that way. If I want to go change all of the colors on my website and change my logo, I can do that in like 5 minutes. Or if I want to redo my lead magnet, I can redo it while the first version of it is up and I can fix it and make it better in the background. And meanwhile, it's been up there for a while and it's still doing work for me.
Yeah, that's good perspective. So tell me, do you have any exciting projects or launches coming up that you want to share?
I do actually. I have a book that's about to come out.
Yay.
So I wrote a book called Social Media Group Therapy, and it is about how we can do social media as small businesses or as solopreneurs without making ourselves miserable. And it's more about the feelings we have around social media and how we think about it. Because I like to approach it in a way that I don't really hear other people talking about because, it's all well and good to say, you should post this many times or whatever, or post consistently. But if you can't convince yourself to show up because you are concerned about what other people are going to think about you or those kinds of things. So, it's really hard to show up then if those are your concerns all the time. I've had so many people say to me, I'm afraid of public failure, or, I'm afraid my sister-in-law is talking about me. And I said, "Oh, so your sister-in-law's in charge of your business then, okay." Like, so
It's nice of you to hand that over to.
well, it was a very good friend, so I could be very blunt. But, yeah, so the book is all about all of those things, and that will be out in the next couple months.
That's awesome. Okay, so when it comes out, you will send me a link and I can go back in and add it to the show notes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So tell the audience where they can connect with you and learn more about what you do.
You can find me at kategilbert.com, or I'm on Instagram as Kate GI. I couldn't get my full name, so just cut off my last name after the first two letters. And I'm also on LinkedIn and basically all the places. So
All right, fair enough. Okay, thank you so much for being with me today. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
thank you so
And
much.
yeah, thanks. Listeners, if you haven't subscribed and liked and left a review yet, why not? Go do it now. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for